Batman The Dark Knight number 25, written by Greg Hurwitz, art by Alex Maleev. So still continuing on with the Clayface story. Last issue, Clayface, I guess it was an origin story, but the main thing was that he was in Arkham, he had a friend, the friend died, and Clayface escaped from Arkham. So this issue picks up with the Penguin, who was responsible for Clayface's creation, basically going through his little house of stolen goods and illegal wares, and he's like, I'm looking at getting some extra special stuff this time. Maybe we should go break my number one guy out of Arkham. And then all of a sudden Clayface just crashes in through the window being like, I've been your laggy boy for years. I'm off. I've more than made it up for you. We're good. And Penguin just sends his goons after Clayface. Clayface knocks him down immediately and is just like, nah, I want you to say it. Say that we're good. And he's like, yeah, no, we're good. We're cool. It's like, great, awesome. Now it's Clayface's time. So we cut over to Arkham where Gordon's getting the laydown of what happened. And he's like, okay, Clayface has been here for like weeks. What changed? What was the change that made him want to break out? And it's like, well, his little buddy died. And it's like, little buddy? It's like, yeah, it was a friend he talked to daily. He ended up dying. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's definitely something that would have changed, especially if he was actually into his acting stuff. And so as he's looking at the stuff, Batman, just shows up in the shadows and is just like, it looks like this was Clayface lost his audience. And Gordon's like, why do you always do the shadow thing? He's like, it always freaks me out every time that you just talk out of nowhere. And Batman's like, sorry, I'll try not to do that. So at that point, they talk and they come to the conclusion like, okay, if Clayface is out and he lost his audience and he was being adored, he's going to want to recapture that. So he's going to get a new audience. And then we see Clayface just in the middle of Gotham in a busy street, just grabbing a bunch of people with his clay tentacles and just taking them away. And Batman's watching playback in the cave and just being like, wow, okay, I didn't think he'd be this literal when I meant captive audience. And actually, you know what? Sorry, it's actually a good joke here where Alfred's the one who makes that joke. He's like, it's a new term of captive audience. Am I right? And Bruce just gives him a look and Alfred's like, sorry, I guess this isn't the time. So at that point, he breaks down like, okay, Clayface is going to want to perform his stuff. He's going to be in some sort of a theater. We'll look through abandoned theaters or film sets, stuff like that. Places where he can perform his craft. And we'll run it through like that. And he says that it's still a long list. I need help, but the rest of my normal family is not up for that. Call in the extended family. And so Alfred makes a call over to Black Canary and Condor from the Birds of Prey, saying, hey, here's some places on a list. Go ahead and check them out. So we go over to the place where Clayface is. It's in a theater. He's got all of his captives strapped down. He's giving them like IVs and stuff and stimulants to make sure they stay awake. Like they are going to be forced to sit here and not move no matter what. But he's also feeding them a mysterious green juice. And we see 6 months ago, Clayface went and spoke to the Joker, who was right around death of the family time because he's got his face strapped on. And he basically is buying a bit of Joker toxin from the Joker in order to be worshipped, is what he says. So he straps that in, feeds it into their IV drip, and then all at once, everyone starts smiling, and then they start laughing against their will. And Clayface is like, yes, this is what I want. This is the adoration I needed. So he starts putting on the show. He's going through all the lines, transforming to all the parts. Batman gets in contact with Black Canary and Condor. They're going to the locations, not getting any luck. And then Batman stumbles across it. He says, oh, found him. All right, cool. So he jumps in, punches out Clayface. He comes to the realization, like, Joker toxin? Are you kidding me? Are you using Joker toxin on these people? And he's just like, oh, it would have been great, but then you came and ruined everything. So Batman starts fighting against Clayface, fires off some batarangs. Of course, he gets punched pretty hard, but in the end, he does end up managing to take Clayface and kick him into a giant vat of some sort of molten something. Why this is in a theater, I'm not sure. But regardless, it is. So at that point, all the rest of the people there, they were they're freed from their thing. Turns out it was a very low-grade Joker toxin, so as soon as they're disconnected, they're basically automatically good. And Gordon looks down into this vat, and we see like goop of Clayface rising back up to the top. And Batman steps up, and he's like, "I'm standing here in the shadows, and I'm going to speak now." And Gordon's like, "Okay, that's not better, but thank you for that." So Batman basically says we need to put him back in Arkham. Gordon says we've tried it over and over and over again. It's never worked. How are we supposed to keep him there? And Batman comes up with the idea of basically making a new cell that is pressurized but is also kept at extremely high temperatures so that Clayface is essentially being cooked the whole time. He's being baked like clay. So, yeah, that's where it ends. It's just Clayface in a little oven where he's being kept at high temperatures. So, yeah, that's the issue. I liked it. I think it was good. It's been weird for this Clayface arc, and I don't even know if it's done yet because I would have said that 2 issues ago as well because it ended in a very similar spot. But it's weird that it feels so episodic. It feels so just like, and here's the adventure Clayface gets into this week. It doesn't feel like an overarching tale is going on. And in that same way, it doesn't feel like there is any growth or anything. It doesn't feel like there's a through line. It's just Clayface keeps getting out and it keeps on being a problem. So as much as this has been at least a 4-issue arc, it does definitely feel like it's not an arc. It's just a collection of Clayface stories. It pretty much can be read in any order. But yeah, no, I'd say it's probably... I mean, it's good. The art's fantastic, and I really do enjoy it, but I do think there is just a bit too much of like, why were the Birds of Prey called in? Especially if they didn't end up contributing anything to the book. I'm going to say this is just a flat 7. It looks fantastic, and I do like the way that the characters are written. It's funny as well, but it's just not like a story, you know? It's just, here's a little slice of what it is. So, yeah, I guess that's what I was looking for, a more overarching plot to examine Clayface rather than just this one-by-one stuff. But 7.5 still nothing, or sorry, 7? I forget what I said, but I'm going with a 7. 7 is nothing to sneeze at.